Hi everyone, this is Charul and welcome to my show. This is going to be an interesting podcast today. It was a while ago. I came back from a trip to India, say a month ago. After coming back, it's never easy. You always definitely miss your family. And I was taking a walk in the War Memorial Gardens where I just live beside the gardens and I go there for, when I need self reflection, I go there for walks. So it was early in the morning. I was taking my walk and then I saw Michael. I met Michael. Michael was just you just passed by me, and then you stopped by to tell me that because I was wearing purple jacket that day, so Michael stopped by and told me that do you know the meaning of the color purple? So I was like, no, I don't. So Michael told me that the meaning of the purple color is Michael. I would let you to talk about purple, the meaning of purple.
Well, as you said, yeah, I'm in recovery now from addiction,
Recovery.
and I'm
Okay.
I'm enjoying nature so much more, and then my eyes have just been opened up, and I seen you going by and I seen the purple,
Right.
and yeah, and like I said, purple means recovery and resurrection.
Yeah. So Michael told me that purple, the meaning of color purple is a recovery and resurrection.
Yes,
And then at that time, I didn't even realize that the day was Daffodil's Day. So Michael carried the yellow daffodil flower on his jacket. And that's when Michael also told me about that it was a Daffodil's Day, and he was supporting the cancer,
it's
the
awareness.
cause
Yeah,
as well. And he also told me that the meaning of the day or the Daffodil's Day is new hope,
new hope, new life.
new hope, and new
New
life.
life.
And I think I needed to hear those words because it helped me go throughout the day. And Michael, you also shared with me some quotes and some experience, some quotes from your experience in your life. And I really enjoyed listening to them. I fully don't really remember those, but those quotes as well from you were very meaningful and they helped me. And then we shared the email addresses because I that day I knew that I want to invite Michael for a podcast at some stage. So today is the day, Michael. So we would like to know about your story. I remember that day while we were departing after that meaningful, very purposeful conversation for 5 minutes, and then you had mentioned to me that you had come over from addiction, and now it was you also mentioned about faith, and you also told me something very intense. It was your time in the prison. So there were some really key points, words that you mentioned while you were departing that that hit me. And I was so curious at that stage that it's so important to bring your story out to the world, to talk, to give you a platform to talk about that story. So today we are here to listen from you. So I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Yes.
Like I
Yeah.
said, there was something about you when I walked by. There was just a click.
Okay.
I can't explain it,
Mhm.
But like I said, since I'm in recovery, yeah, I just have this. I'm very happy with myself,
Yeah.
in myself,
Mhm.
and I'm learning a lot of new things around. I remember the thing that we were saying about the codes. I think it took me 10 years walking around in circles
Okay.
to realize this because
10 years.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
done
After.
it. I've done 4 years. I've done five with three. I've done six with three suspended when I was doing that, and a lot of remands.
Mhm.
That's no proud boast. Certainly not proud about what I've done. But that's behind me now. I want to keep
Right.
moving on with my life.
Okay.
But it was a lot to do with the addiction issues. Most of that was done because of addiction issues in my
Okay.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you talk about more about? Would you like us to go deeper into that or
Well,
no?
I
Mhm.
suppose so. I've been drinking. So I came from kind of. It was a dysfunctional family.
Mhm.
There was a lot of love in it. Good. Like I lost my mother. She's 20 years passed away now today from cancer. My father lost to cancer as well when I was locked up.
Okay.
And I suppose me going off the rails more than I had a lot to do with me losing my mother. You know.
Okay.
Us men were like big boys without that.
Mhm.
And I had four, like I said, I had four sisters and two brothers, and yeah, look, it was a dysfunctional family, but there was love in it too.
Okay.
So yeah, how can I say? Yeah, I was convicted. farm robbery, but it was really jump overs, bookies, supermarkets, chemists, and yeah, it came from a lot of anger from my addiction and dealing with the abuse that I had. I was abused
Mm.
3 different times from 3 different people.
Okay. And what age would you be?
Oh, the first time I would have been, let me think, I came for, would have been around second class, which is usually around 7 or something. And when that
Okay.
happened, the person tried to kill me when they found out. Anyway, that's all in the past time. But yeah, it was a very, flashing memories. I carried that for a long time. And then when I was dealing with that issue, then I got drugged and raped again, you know, which was, yeah, really led.
Intense. It was a
It was a tense time, but
very, yeah, yeah.
it is what it is at the time.
Hmm.
Now I have let that go. I really have, you know what I mean?
So this
I'm,
all happened and before your teens,
no, one
before.
was when I was 7. One was
Okay.
when I was 16 over in
Hmm.
England. The fella came and tried to say, but I could fight him off. And then the other one was when I was a grown man, I got drugged and raped when I was dealing with them
Oh
issues when I was in Galway. Anyway, look,
my
these things
goodness.
happen.
My goodness. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
look,
So it had a. Did you share this with someone in
I
your
was trying to
life?
work. I've done that now.
Mm-hmm.
That's done and dusted. I have no fear of saying it. I'm not embarrassed by it either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really
Mm-hmm.
not embarrassed because it wasn't exactly my fault, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
where I
yeah.
used to blame myself over it for a long time. But
Okay.
that didn't give me really, when I look back at it, I was drinking then since I was 12. I suppose I done all the drugs, the usual drugs, the petrol, the glue. I went through all the stages.
Mm-hmm.
I think I done, and then I found heroin. That was a. But during all this as well, I became a qualified electrician somehow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Somehow,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So I have a lot of strength, and I had a good work ethic. Like my mother had done her best, and I come from a good, hard-working family.
Okay.
Learned respect. My father was, God bless him, he wasn't a well man. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But we just didn't know how to show love.
Mm.
But like everything, you find out something more about your parents after they pass away.
Yeah.
And he didn't have no easy upbringing. But I
Mm.
know he loved me now, you know what I mean, which is great relief at this stage. But at the time, yeah, there was a lot of myself and my father was we were killing each other. You know what I mean? There was a lot of violence.
Okay.
Yeah, like, and my first sentence was 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in Mountjoy, which was
Mm-hmm.
slap out at the time. Which,
Okay.
but saying all that, looking back at me jail, I now realise now that saved me life because there was a tornado going through this world. There was.
Okay. So going to the jail
Saved my
saved
life
your
without a
life.
doubt. Without a doubt, I would have hurt someone more severely, or they would have hurt me. I would have, which is so. Yeah,
Okay.
you have to remember cells.
Mm-hmm.
See, back in the day, now it's starting to
Mm-hmm.
rehabilitate. Back in the day, it was more really about punishment. But I suppose I was looking away because it was getting to the stage where was changing from punishment into rehabilitation,
Mm-hmm.
and it's getting better and better as it goes along. And it's better and better. But
Yeah.
did I deserve to be locked up? Yes, I did. I deserve
Okay.
to be locked up.
All
There's no
right.
ifs or buts about that.
Okay.
Caused a lot of trauma to people. I
Mm-hmm.
caused a lot of trauma to my family.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember one of the wisest things one of my daughters, because it was all addiction issues, you know what I mean? There
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of drug use in the prison at the time. A lot of drug use.
Mm.
There's probably more drugs in prison than there was on the outside.
Right.
It was that.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 years in prison.
About the on and off, yeah, around that, yeah, it would be shorter,
Okay.
yeah.
Right, right. And where was that prison? Where was
Mountjoy,
Montjoy? Montjoy was the one. Okay.
no, Wheatfield
Mm-hmm.
as well was
Mm-hmm.
my last sentence, and it was
Mm-hmm.
Castlereagh as well.
Yeah.
Because when I came out of my first sentence, trying to get well, I ended up because my mom died just before that sentence, and my dad died during that sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came out of the joy, uh, didn't really have anything to live. The house was up for sale. I ended
Mm-hmm.
up living with a drug, a man dealing drugs. And anyway, my habit got very hard, very hard. I ended up going into a Thai in Sisconcilio place in a Thai.
Okay.
Looking back now, that's how I really became homeless because I was causing major trouble and bringing everybody down in the place. And I was put out New Year's Day, 2 days before New Year's Day that day. So
Yeah.
I was so angry at religion, at court. That gave me an excuse to give out. did I deserve to be thrown out? Looking back, yeah, I know I did because I was bringing everybody down with me, but
Okay.
blaming everybody else.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah,
And until so, what age were you now when when you came out of the jail?
the first one,
Mm-hmm.
like three major sentences. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
right.
Well, the 4 years, then I got 5 3,
Okay.
and then doing that I was getting 6 or 3.
No way.
Yeah,
My goodness. That was a long time.
yeah, not that compared to
Uh,
other people, not that long.
not that. Okay.
Looking back on it now, it's probably
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it saved my life.
Okay.
So there's a plus point,
Yeah.
People might
Okay.
find that strange, but it's
Mm-hmm.
true.
Okay. But why, like, multiple times, like when you went to the jail first, why didn't that help with, realizations, or why
It did
did
to a
that
point. I
kept
remember
repeating? Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
when I came out of prison the first time clean again because I went in with a heroin problem. But
Mm-hmm.
I came out clean and sober, but I wasn't able to manage.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't have the supports in place. Or I wouldn't take the supports,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't do meetings, and
Mm-hmm. Okay.
the AA, the NA, or
Mm-hmm.
the CA, which is big supports. They're not everything, but they're a major support, without a doubt.
Right. So, Michael, you have also mentioned about that the drug addiction. I think that got you into the prison at times. Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So how did people get into this addiction? And would you like to reflect on that a bit, that what got you into drug addiction, and what the government or the state is doing currently to handle this challenge or the situation with people?
Currently, they're
Mm,
leaving it to charities.
the charities.
A lot of
Mm-hmm.
charities. Like I said, it's good and bad everywhere. Like I truly believe because I got clean and sober at least 7 8 times during my life.
Mm-hmm.
But the major thing that was missing in mine was faith,
Fate.
without a doubt.
Okay.
And even with the 12-step programs, they're faith based.
Okay. So these charities who were helping you, supporting you with your with getting out of the drug addiction, they bought faith in your life. They worked through faith.
Well,
Is it?
yeah, well,
Mm-hmm.
see,
Mm-hmm.
but some of them are, and some of them aren't based on it now. You know what I mean? They always
Okay.
were originally based
Mm-hmm.
on it, but
Mm-hmm.
like with Sister Concilios and
Mm-hmm.
Cool Mine, they're
Mm-hmm.
probably the two best treatment programs out there. And there
Mm-hmm.
is other Christian groups as well out there, but it's the non-faced ones. There's an awful lot of relapse in it, if you ask me. It's like that time I met the government has handed that over really to charities.
Okay. And do you think government is putting enough effort
Certainly
in that?
not. No,
No, no.
I
Okay.
think there's only something like
Mm-hmm.
15 or 20. I'm not know exactly, but there's a very small amount of detox bags out there. And they know this for a long time. They know
Okay.
this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a big heroin epidemic in Dublin during the 80s, late 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crack thing now, you know what I mean? But I don't really want to go into it, but it's money driven, as
Okay.
everything is in crime, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of underhand stuff going on.
What's going on now, current state of this, drugs and the addiction, and
Well, look,
what do you
I've been
how, yeah.
I've been put some of the so-called recovery places
Mm-hmm.
are a plain disgrace how they're
Mm-hmm.
getting away with it. I, I was recently put out of a Simon recovery house because I would not go back on the methadone. My key worker who would not.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying for them to have a talk with my counsellor at the time, who I worked with in Trinity Court, and my doctor for the last 2 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and they've done everything possible to avoid that for some reason I don't understand. And I was getting bullied by some staff in there because of my face.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. There's good people in there as well, but they're fighting a kind of, what's the word can I say, a numbers based game
Okay.
rather than a recovery based game. Peter McFerry's, I have to say, I'm very, very angry with.
Mm-hmm.
Open drug use, open drug dealing in their centres. Plain and simple, open drug use and drug use. They're not helping people recover. It's a disgrace what they're getting, how they're getting paid directly out of dole. I still and do housing first as well, and they pick and choose who gets houses. I was told if I got clean, I'd get a house. Now when I got clean, I was told I have to be on medication to get a house,
Okay.
which is just
Interesting.
bizarre. But I know because
Mm.
I know my amount of friends that have relapsed and died in these places, but it doesn't seem to be recorded. They're not even capable of looking after themselves. because they say they're meant to help people. I'm angry at it because they say they're meant to help people, but the supports are not there for them. Some great, don't get me wrong, there's some brilliant young women there, but they're totally untrained to deal with some of the situations of mental illness, hardcore addiction, long-term homelessness, which causes the addiction and the mental illness, and they're being put on the front line while their managers are sitting back racking in the money. I've been in so many different houses of McFerry's. It's yeah, if they really wanted to sort out the housing problem, it could make major difference. Stevens Green sent one up they have up there. It's just crazy. I OD'd that 3 times in 1 week. And it wasn't for the heroics of a couple of the girls, because the managers would have left me there to die. As simple as that. And I'm angry at that situation because I've been trying to voice it, and you kept getting thrown away in lies and lies and lies and lies. Focus Ireland, which is meant to be helping the homeless. I can't talk to someone. They won't do anything official with me. They just want, you're barred because they don't like what you say. It's meant to be client based. They've gone so far off the fate line as well.
Okay.
Brother Luke's, it always be put on the other people. The person that makes the most noise and gives out and shouts and roars and screams is the person that gets looked after, not the person that's in recovery.
Okay.
And it's and I'm tired of seeing my friends die and relapse for a system that's meant to be looking after them, and all they do is money based, money driven. It's a it's a human rights crime. And saying that, try to ring the human rights, Irish human rights. There's no one in their office. You get a number, you can't make an appointment. I was put in a Simon house I was put into a hostel with excretion all over the walls, no shower doors. No, I'm told I can't get hot water unless I'm on medication. You know, it's the housing problem. It's a disgrace at the minute, and with all the immigrants and with all the amount of addictions, I don't care whether myself. I'm no racing, but it's the money's been made in the hostels.
Right.
It's shocking. It's a human rights crime. It's been opened up everywhere. We're being treated like cattle. And I said it's just drug induced. McFerry's, there's a chemist there beside it that's pumping out drugs into people. They have lovely flowers on the wall, and yeah, but open drug use and drug dealing inside the house. And they're saying I'm tired of seeing my friends medicated, and no use, and keep relapsing after relapsing and relapsing. There's a few decent people in there, and then there's a lot of people with not enough experience, and it's just shoestring, because the money that's coming in is used to pay the big managers. The other day I seen the managers come down to the place and they just handed up the biscuits they had left over. It was such an irony. And anytime I want to talk to any of the big bosses, because of my 40 years of addiction, and I'm clean and sober and I know what works now, I think my opinion has a good bearing on recovery, but they don't want to know. Don't want to know. Like, they have a good lantern shop out there, but it's minimal compared to what they can be doing. And if they had any reason to deal with the housing project problem out there, maybe sell some of the properties that they have under. And I still don't understand how that charity can get money directly taken out of people's doles. And and how they can keep giving houses to people that are seriously in drug addiction without the care that they're meant to be giving them. It's very angry. Like I said, people are dying on the streets, being drowned, not even mentioned. And it goes higher than that. Like, there's no housing crisis. 75% of politicians are landlords. Heating crisis. The ESB made £900 million this year. As a public company, that's meant to be put back in, but it's used to pay the bonuses of managers rather than helping the public. I have my Brazilian friends, 20 of them living into houses, running around working minimum money, minimum wage, working very hard, good people, being treated like bloody dogs, like cattle as well. As for trying to find a gaff, the hap, impossible. I wired most of Dublin for 15 years of my life. I'm an electrician by trade, and I could get a job tomorrow. I have contracts. I have loads of, but I don't. I'm sick and tired of seeing my friends die. But I seem like I'm the only one that's fighting this. Everybody's too interested in themselves anymore. That I culture that's come in. It's shocking and it's wrong. The rich, yeah, there's always meant to be rich, but the rich is, man, how much do you need? They're meant to look at. You can't treat people like that. Even the hard-working people of the trades, of the Dublin people, Moore Street traders, great people, salt of the earth. They're even tired of their communities getting destroyed by people being put in there that aren't capable of even washing themselves and being cut up and all this craziness that they have to put up with, and the guards won't do anything about it because they're so disillusioned with. I know some straight, even the man that's one of looking after my uh, hostel at the minute is an ex-guard. He left it because he's just tired of the corruption. I won't mention his name because he's a good man, and there's a lot of good people out there that I know that. The other day I was down Capel Street getting the badge there for violence towards women. 4 guards. This fella came down and said, one of your guards is getting attacked up there in Blessing Street, which is only 5 minutes away. They said, well, I'm just not. They didn't even help them. So what hope is there for society when 4 of their own guards won't help their own getting attacked? So what hope is there for us?
Yeah.
I'm very angry at it.
So, Mike, we have spoken about corruption. So, would you also reflect on is the corruption really visible or by naked eyes in Ireland, or it's very deep down rooted inside the country? What would you say? What's your opinion about it?
Like, my opinion is, I think it's open for anybody can see it. The open drug
Okay.
dealing on the streets.
Yeah. Okay.
Guards standing at the GPO and open drug dealing in the GPO.
Right. Yeah.
It's right
Yeah.
there in front of your face, down by the keys. Anybody can see it. It's wide open.
Yes. Now it's for the drugs,
For
definitely.
the definitely drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
As for even the McFerry's, geez, I seen one of them pay off one of the managers. I don't care what they say about that. I've seen it. I know what I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, that is not acceptable in this day and age from people that are getting government money. Guards who are so disillusioned with their jobs, they don't even care. They don't care.
Guards don't care.
They don't care.
No. Okay.
And look at, they're guarding the hutches there to protect them against the Keenans, who, let's be honest, anybody knows that they were set up to kill them because they're getting too big for your boots, and they made a mess out of it. Now everybody's running scared and lying, and no one is telling the truth. And you'd want to be a very stupid man not to realise that. But why no one says that? There's that culture. There seems to be that culture. Oh, you can't rat, you can't this. There's people dying. I don't care. I don't consider it. I consider it part of my duty as a human being and as faith and a Catholic. And I believe, be honest with you as well, the church can do better.
The church can do better.
Without a doubt. They're in there talking about it. Talk is cheap. And maybe they need to start preaching about community again. Because that's part of faith. Starting to go what's wrong and what's right in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Contemplation, prayer is all well and good, but sometimes action's needed. It's like an old copper that was there back in the 60s and 70s, Lugs Brannigan his name was. He'd go in and crack a few heads.
Yeah.
But they got rid of him because he was a straight shooter. And the corruption came in that time when the Duns brought it in the 80s. Money started talking. And it's been like that ever since. And the threats to people in communities, they ruined Fadden, Mary's inner city flats. They were allowed ruin it because people thought they were less than. They're great people. You talk to all the traders, they're hard-working Dublin people. They're sick and tired of having to put up with corruption at the highest level that has ruined blocks. Dominic Street flats, the roof was put on that the same year. A new roof was put on that the same year they pulled it down. Now, as for homeless crisis, look at the houses. I wired all these places. They'd be back up and running within a week or two. Got a few tradesmen in there, no bother at all. But they don't want to do that. They're making the housing crisis.
They're making the housing crisis.
Without a doubt. Sure, look at how would the mortgage. 95, was it 75% of politicians?
Yeah.
Or landlords.
Yeah. Okay.
Or they're under one of the family names and they admit it's not. It's pure lies, but the
Mm-hmm.
papers won't report it because they're in their pockets too.
Interesting. Okay.
This is
Makes
in my
sense.
opinion
Yeah,
itself,
yeah,
but
yeah.
not many people talk because everybody's too busy
Busy in
working the
their
12 hours, six
true.
days a
Yeah,
week,
yeah. Paying the
paying
bills,
mortgages,
paying the
paying the
rent,
rents.
mortgages. We don't look up beyond
Everybody is
that.
suffering from that.
Yeah,
As I
yeah.
said, the heating crisis. There's no heating
Right,
crisis,
right, right, right.
you know. So
Yeah.
why are we allowing this to happen? And
It's
even with
just
the
seeping in.
immigrations,
Mm-hmm.
there's an immigrating hostel in Parnell Street. It's like a five-star hotel because they're
Mm-hmm.
getting money from Europe, and there's more money involved in that than looking
Mm-hmm.
after the people here already.
Mm-hmm.
Ireland's always been a great country, but we have enough in this country already.
Mm-hmm.
We need to start looking after our own, and that
Yeah.
includes Indians, Pakistanis, whoever you are. We're
Mm-hmm.
here. We're Irish citizens. We're in here working in this community. We deserve better standard of living
Definitely.
and lower rates
No,
compared to anywhere. Why are we allowing this to happen? I just don't know, and why
we
we
do.
won't protest.
We don't not doing it. We are not doing it. We are just so busy with our wages and just making sure our ends are meeting. We are
Purposely
not talking
done.
about it, but everybody's feeling it so
Everybody's feeling.
strongly. But it's just there is no support. There is no the people are not coming together. Like yeah,
Why I
yeah.
don't understand. That's why we
Mm-hmm,
need to start
mm-hmm.
talking about it.
We
But
need to talk about
the
it. Yeah.
talk is cheap. Spread the word, but we need to
Mm-hmm,
start putting feet and start marching on the Dáil.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Peaceful protest, but angry peaceful protest, demanding. But that takes numbers.
Numbers. Yeah.
Takes numbers.
Yeah.
They make building hotels after hotels after hotels around Dublin. Single rooms are putting, and don't get me wrong, I have no problem with the Ukrainians. God bless them, they're in a war. Sudan started in a war. This, God's sake, that's horrific.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: all the Irish are here already. How come they're jumping ahead of us into these places? I'm 13 years homeless myself. 13 years, coming into 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
So why am I still in a room that's covered in fucking shit, pardon the language, excretion? I'll use the politically correct word, yeah? No running water, placing bits,
Mm.
totally breaking every civil rights and human rights condition. Why, as an Irishman, that my Irish, Polish friends, all the multicultural that Ireland has become, are being treated like dogs.
Mm.
And then where the money's at, they're being treated like kings.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
There's too much of them,
Yeah.
the hams and
Yeah.
the have-nots, and that's
Mm-hmm.
even in the homeless sector.
Mm-hmm.
It's how much is some, I was outside the door the other day, and the chef of the TDs was coming out with a car worth nearly the price of a house. With the three guards out there, so disillusioned, they don't care.
Mm.
They're just doing their thing because they're too busy paying their mortgages and paying their heatings and not getting support
Right.
from the politicians or their own kind because the guards have got so corrupted. They're running scared because of the money that's been put into them by the drugs.
Mm.
So, yeah, maybe I tried to contact my three local 3Ds. I cannot get through to them.
Mhm.
Now, how can I not get through to my public representatives? They've moving. I just don't understand. They're meant to be public representatives.
Yes. Yeah. 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 So what's happening there?
There's
With the,
nothing happening there because I
this
can't get
no,
through to them.
you can't get through. So Mike, people, those who are currently into drugs or addicted to drugs, and even those who are currently into rehabilitation, after that period of being addicted to drugs. So, what would you recommend to those people? Your advice from your experience.
As for addiction and rehab, like at the minute, it was a heroin crisis. Now it's become a crack crisis, and
Mm.
look, the easiest way is not to start. It has to be community based.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you have to educate the kids, educate
Right.
without a doubt. But you
Okay.
also have to have the support of the guards. You also have the support of the community leaders and
Okay.
the politicians,
Mm-hmm.
and not that they get corrupted by the money, by the crime, because it's big money. It's big, big money.
Okay.
And
Mm.
but so from that though, the rehabs, the most successful rehabs ones
Mm.
are the faith-based ones. As simple as that,
Okay, the faith-based ones, rehabs. Okay,
without a
that's
doubt.
very interesting.
It's Sister
Right.
Concilios
Mm-hmm.
and it's cool. And after that, it comes into the AAs, the NAs, and the CAs because they're all faith-based recovery programs, the 12-step programs, and they are the most successful, ground record proven. But now these faith-based ones like the Simon, like McFerry's, which used to be faith-based, have gone so far off the beaten track with their own versions of it, which are total in my opinion, baloney, because the Google doctors, as you know, there's no anybody can say they're a counsellor in this country. There's no
Mm.
law that doesn't stop anybody can put it up in the door. There was a program about that, you know. Yeah, but with me, like I said, I got clean and sober so many times. But the thing for missing me at the most was my face.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
yeah. There was yeah, and I'm not embarrassed to say that anymore. I got on my knees, you know. And I thank
Okay.
God. I'm a Catholic boy. That's
Right.
my faith, you know.
Okay.
But whether you're Hindu,
Mm.
whatever, when you want, I believe. Well, no, I know from my experience, and from most people's recovery program, is getting on their knees and having a God of their understanding.
Interesting. Very nice.
It's the
Mm.
answer.
Mm.
So I can't understand why these companies that are getting companies, charities they're called, I call them companies, who are getting government money because the government will not hold up their end of the bargain. They're handing it over to charities who are making big money on people's illness, which totally goes against what it's meant to be.
Yeah.
It's totally on the other side of things, apart from this, of course you need money to run jobs or to run businesses, but recovery should not be a business. It should be a human right. Do you get into it? Yeah, we need a bit of tough love out there.
Okay.
We need a bit of tough love because people are getting away with being doing nothing. It takes hard work for recovery. It
Right.
takes hard work, but it's well worth it.
Yeah. So, Mike, how long was it for you when you got introduced to faith and when you started recovering? How long back was that?
I always had faith. I just lost it from my mother. Because I had my clean and sober time so many times. It was a 12-step program. There's 12 prayers, there's 12 meditations. I done the suggested things. I got down on my knees and God came back in my life and it's changed my world.
Beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's a good way to finish it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Faith is what's missing in this community anymore.
Right.
People are so angry at the church. There's no,
Yeah. Yeah.
for all that's old, math, you have to forgive. You have to forget that. That's in the past. It's like how I forgot my abusers. Forgive. We have to forgive and move forward.
Yeah.
As I
Yeah.
say, live backwards is evil. That's not there's a
True.
reason for that.
Certainly, Michael. Certainly. So, folks, as you have heard of Michael's story, Michael emphasizes on the importance of faith in our life, that we should practice faith every day of our life. We should bring it in our lives. And it's not a healthy way of living life backwards, but always move forward with faith. And as Michael said to me on the Daffodils Day, that there is always hope. There is always hope for a new life. And there is always an opportunity. And we can always transform our life the way we want it with the important with faith in it, with practicing faith in it.